Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned in to Three Questions and a Song, the podcast where the title says it all, except it doesn't, because I can't keep it to three questions. This is episode number 71. You can hear us on buildascene.com and rootaroораdio.com. With me tonight is David Hipchen. What's up, David?
Hey, Bill. Nice to see you.
So here's the thing. I have this official Build a Scene question for my podcast now, and it's only fitting that you have to answer it because you look like him. So the question is, who is your Dave Grohl? In other words, what musician do you want to go up on stage with and play one of their originals?
Oh man, well, I think it would be cool with Dave Grohl. I think it would probably be Jerry Cantrell for me, like to go up and play an Alice in Chains song. I think that would be that would be definitely a lifelong sort of dream. If I would say either that or maybe lately I've been listening to quite a bit of Queens of the Stone Age as well, but I would say it probably has to be Jerry Cantrell. I'd love to go play a song with him.
What do I have? Sorry. I have a new setup going on here. There we go. So that's not an official question. That doesn't count. Except it is the official question of Build a Scene. But anyway.
That's all right.
I will tell you the story behind that off the air because it's long. But let's see. Mexico. What's going on there?
Yeah, so I made it down twice this year. And it seems maybe a little counterintuitive, given this sort of COVID times here, but it worked out that way, and I had a lot of help, of course, from some friends and from my girlfriend Veronica there. It was the way it worked out couldn't have been any better. I mean, it's just been both times were just amazing trips, and I'm planning on going back as soon as I can. I'm currently waiting on passport renewal, and of course the government is way backed up on that right now. So
I believe, if I read everything you sent me correctly, the song we're going to play tonight was recorded there.
Yes. I was there at I'm sorry, go ahead.
And the one that I played on the Pennsylvania Rock Show last night also recorded there, I believe.
Yes. And yeah, so that was the end of June. I was there, and I got to use the studio of a kind of a friend of a friend, and it worked out. They were just I recorded the songs acoustically. One's called Monsters. That's the one that that I sent for tonight, and I recorded a song called So Long there, and all I had with me, I was playing solo, and really all I had with me was my acoustic guitar. But luckily, of course, at the studio, there was a bass, and my friend Sammy at the studio was very intuitive with what I was doing, and he put some percussion and some synth and some things that was felt very intuitive to the song, to both songs, and so yeah, it was a really cool experience, getting to not only my first time playing somewhere outside of the tri-state area. I mean, I had been gigging around West Virginia, Wheeling or Youngstown and State College in Pittsburgh, and a lot here in the tri-state area, but that was my first out of country experience. International, yes, and it was really cool, really cool.
I know we chatted a while ago on Facebook, and I asked you about playing live shows there, and you were talking about speaking Spanish while on stage. Is that something that you learned ahead of time, or was that an on the fly kind of thing?
Well, I was very lucky in that my mother was a Spanish teacher, For she taught Spanish for many years here at Ford City and Armstrong Central, and, around, and even as a substitute. Pardon me, when she retired from like full time teaching. So I had some background there, and so I had so I had a pretty good foundation, and it's another thing that Veronica has really helped me with a lot. My girlfriend, and so yeah, it was it's kind of difficult still. I mean, having a having a decent grasp on the language is one thing, but like trying to engage with native speakers is very much another thing. And
I know.
there's definitely been a few laughs had at my expense, but that's all right.
You do know what the most important question in Spanish is, right?
Which one?
It's ¿Dónde está el baño?
Oh, baña. See.
For anyone out there who doesn't know what I just said, I said, where is the bathroom? It's important. My Spanish teacher in high school told us that was the most important sentence you had to remember.
Yeah. Well, luckily enough, oddly enough, even because it was kind of a, smaller school. I never had my mom as a teacher in school. Of course, we would, speak a little bit at home, but I always wound up having one of the other teachers for. I think I took 3 years of Spanish in high school. And,
I had it in 8th grade all the way through when I graduated in college.
Very nice.
But you want to talk about oddly in high school? My high school Spanish teachers' names were Mr. Romeo and Mrs. Love.
Oh, nice.
So.
Nice. I think that it's especially nowadays, with the all of the digital technologies we have, and having access to the pretty much the whole world right in our phones now. It's I think it's really more important than ever to like have some kind of grasp on another language. That's something that it seems like we fall a little bit short on in America in general.
I'm actually teaching Spanish right now. And one of my students said something about, we were talking about article, noun, adjective agreements. And they were like, why do they even speak it like that? I don't want to speak like that. And I was like, listen, I said, not only do they speak it like that, but they speak it in English too. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I have to ask you this question, and you'll understand. I was at Radioactive Event Center back in November.
Okay.
And there were 2 bands from our area, a band from Michigan, a band from California, like the state of California, playing.
Mm-hmm.
And the band from Michigan had hired me through First Angel Media to come take pictures. And I got there and they were eating Vocelli pizza, and they were so excited about Vocelli's pizza. And I said to them, I was like, listen, there are so many mom and pop places around here. I was like, Mel's is right up the road. I was like, I can't believe that they got you Vocelli's. And so the question that comes out of that story is, what is the best pizza you've ever had because you were a musician?
Huh. So like pizza maybe that we had at a gig or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I could remember the name of the place. There was a place in Swissvale. I actually did it. I played at the St. Vincent de Paul store in Swissvale a couple years ago. They were doing a thing at the Pittsburgh diocese was doing a thing where they were having some people just play live, like solo or duo acoustic stuff in some of the St. Vincent de Paul stores throughout the Pittsburgh area. And I wound up getting I played one evening for a couple hours at the St. Vincent de Paul store, and just a few doors down from that in Swissvale. There was a pardon me. There was a little pizza place, and I have to say it was really really good.
All right, so we're gonna argue with Neil Donnelly here for a moment.
Ah.
He says no and out pizza's the hut. And I'm sorry, Neil, but
Neil,
that's
Neil, long
no.
time no see. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I haven't seen you, haven't talked to him for a while.
I trying to think last time I saw him was at a Nine Stitch Method CD release, probably 4 years ago in person.
It's been a while.
And what really kills me about him calling Pizza Hut is he's constantly cooking and talking about becoming a chef and Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Um, so I know that you kind of slid in to my DMs and showed me a picture saying I'm practicing with my new band. And
Yes, yes.
and I didn't ask you about it because I specifically wanted to ask you about it here.
Yeah.
So who, what, when, how?
Yeah, so, I mean, unfortunately, like a lot of bands, over the first, you know, a few months or year of COVID, Tilted Shadows wound up um, sort of dissipating, and uh, I don't know that it's really necessarily done permanently, but we all kind of wound up going our separate ways for a while, and I was doing some solo things, and this opportunity to play with a good friend of mine, um, that Total Shadows had, we had done some gigs with his band, and so my friend Chris, pardon me, uh, my friend Chris Kincaid from Garage Space, he had a band called Garage Space, and Tilted Shadows and Garage Space had done a few shows together, and we got to talking and hanging out a little bit and playing, and we thought, man, this is kind of cool. It's a little different. It's definitely a departure from each of our other bands in the style of what we're doing. Um, as of right now, we are calling ourselves Neon Witch Parade, and it's a little bit. It has sort of a psychedelic blues sound, like kind of like Procol Harum, maybe a little bit of Doors, maybe a little bit of even, but there's a fusion there. There's a little bit of like some blues maybe here and there, um, maybe even some like desert rock, stoner rock, grungy kind of stuff. Like a Caius or Queens of the Stone Age or something. Uh, and there's even a little bit, honestly, I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of pop savvy in some of the songs, um, or like we kind of make the music sort of sounds that way, but the lyrics are maybe a little bit darker, Um, so, anyways, yeah, um, it's we were just in the studio. We were in the studio this past weekend at up at Shed Sounds, right outside of Clarion, PA. Caleb Harmon there does a great job. It was really, really, it was a cool experience this weekend. We worked on a few songs, basically enough for maybe like a little EP to start with, um, and it was really a fun weekend. Uh, we hadn't really spent that much time together. We've been practicing every week. It took us a little while. Chris and I have been sort of working on a few of these songs for I don't know, almost a year now, and it kind of took it took a while to get some consistent members. We had a little bit of a couple of different people on drums, a couple of different people on bass, and this unit that we have right now, we have a really nice chemistry. We have a nice groove together. Uh, so it's cool. It's really cool. We're just it's like we create something, every week. We typically rehearse on like Monday nights. And of course we have a few things in mind, like we want to work on this song, this song that we know are kind of our stronger ones that we've been putting together. And almost inevitably, like we'll just jam on something else and like we have another song, you know? uh, so yeah, it's really cool. Um, right now on drums, we have Ben Graham, who was also in Garage Space with my friend Chris, and we have our friend Jake is on bass, and we have Morgan singing with us, and of course myself. I'm playing the guitar and singing, and we all, the songs are, a lot of it's sort of co-written, which is also a bit of a departure for me, because I was the pretty much the main writer. I was the main writer, I guess, for Tilted Shadows, and and of course for my own solo things. So it's definitely a little departure from what we're any of us were doing previously.
I do have garage space music that I play on Build the Scene and on
Excellent,
Pennsylvania Rock
excellent.
Show. So, what? You know what? Let's talk about the song, and we'll come back and do a couple more questions. So the song "Monsters."
Mm-hmm.
You've been through this portion of my podcast before. Tell me a story.
Okay, so the song was a lot of things have changed over this past, over the 2021. I wrote the song last year, and like I said, it was recorded it at the end of June. And Monsters is kind of a sort of about just some of the things. I've had some struggles with depression and some other things, and Monsters was sort of just kind of a like most of my songs, kind of a catharsis. That's what typically I write from some sort of life experience, or some sort of feeling or something that I'm going through, that maybe I have trouble communicating otherwise, and so that's where songwriting comes in a lot for me, is sort of sort of a catharsis.
I do want to note before we listen to the song that I am on episode 601 of the Pennsylvania Rock Show. This is episode 71 of this show, and there's been some other podcasts, and there were 288 Pennsylvania Rock shows that happened in this room, and you are one of the people that have performed on one of those 288.
Oh, nice.
So,
was that back when I was there with Bruce?
You came with Bruce. You came with Chris one time.
Oh yes, that's right. I did too.
And I think you hung out a couple times where you didn't play too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I was kind of hanging around a couple of times.
So, so this isn't a normal show where I'm speaking with someone that I haven't interacted with. Seen you play live, I have no idea how many times at this point.
Oh yeah, I would say a few.
What is Neil saying? Neil made it to 19 episodes, he says. I think I've been on all of them. I'm not sure. All right, so we're going to take a moment and listen to Monsters by David Hipchen, and we'll be right back. For those of you that are hanging out with us live, you actually don't get to hear that song right now. You'll have to wait until Saturday morning. Or if you want to hear So Long, that'll be on the website Friday morning, 6 a.m. both days. The podcast will show up. So PA Rock Show, you can hear So Long. 3 questions in the song, you can hear Monsters. And there will probably both, and probably a third one, end up on the radio station as well. And since I'm talking and technically not on the air right now, also Saturday at 3:30 in the afternoon on XRP Radio, Jonna from First Angel Media, and I will be on XRP Radio doing an episode of Friendly Fire where we take 4 songs and we put them up against 4 songs from XRP, and basically we try and match like genre or sound or feeling, and then everybody in the chat room talks about what they liked and didn't like, and a bunch of bands get heard by people who they wouldn't normally be heard by. Especially since XRP is in Birmingham, United Kingdom. So,
Nice.
So that's happening 3:30 on Saturday, and 3 Questions. The song that you're watching right now will appear on the website at 6 a.m. on Saturday. PA Rock Show 6 a.m. Friday. All right, there. Advertisements done. So now we're gonna come back in, and I will ask you the question from State of Mind, John Ferris from State of Mind.
Okay.
I'll ask you for your question for Robin and Bob, and I'm sure I'll ask a couple more questions, and then I told you how to know we were at the end. Anyway, that was Monsters by David Hipchen, who is hanging out with me tonight on episode number 71 of 3 Questions and a Song.
I hope you guys liked it.
So what I need from you is, I'm gonna actually edit this in later, but I had John Ferris from State of Mind ask you a question, and here is his question. And now I gotta pull it up because I forgot to pull it up. It's been that kind of day. It's a good thing I can edit this part out. What point in your life did you decide that you wanted to play music, and what led you to write what you write?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I knew I wanted to play music at a very early age. You know, I remember as far back as, you know, having, you know, of course not, having memories of like being very, very little and like, you know, being in the bathtub, like being a little kid in the bathtub, like singing along with my mom's records and stuff, you know. I just always, music has just always been, you know, something that I was drawn to. And, you know, I didn't really get, for a multitude of reasons, I didn't get that serious about it till I was kind of a late bloomer in terms of like actually performing it, you know, and putting myself out there and writing, and performing originals. I was even a little bit of a late bloomer in terms of putting myself out there and playing in cover bands and things. And but at any rate, so what leads me to write what I write? Like I was saying earlier, you know, writing for me is sort of a way to communicate a lot of things that I struggle with, you know, to communicate otherwise. Socially, I tend to be kind of quiet socially. You know, I mean, you've seen me around lots of times. If I'm not on stage, like singing and playing, chances are I'm sort of like lurking in the background somewhere, you know, having a beer or something. But you know,
why do you think I have a camera in my hand when I'm in shows? People leave you alone.
yeah. So, you know, a lot of it is, you know, like I write from a lot of life experience. And, you know, I'm not that good at like writing. You know, some people are good at like writing these sort of like story songs, you know, that are, you know, almost like a short story or something like that, you know, that you would read. But I've never been that. I'm way better at writing from, you know, from life experience or from, you know, some sort of internal place.
Yep. I kind of smiled when you said about writing short stories. I interviewed Chris from why am I blanking on the band's name now? Leprosy. Band that's been together like 33 years in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Gore
Excellent.
metal.
Yes.
And
yes.
when I asked him about his song, he went on and told me this whole story with background information and how all the songs link together and it's all horror gore. And I was like, have you ever written a script?
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, and some people write great songs that way. You know, I just seem to do better from a little bit more internalized, you know, standpoint, I guess. But you know, that's the cool thing about you know, songwriting or art in general. You know, is it can be from, everybody gets it from somewhere different inside them, or approaches it a little bit differently.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off putting that up there.
Oh, that's all right.
Are you familiar with Charlie Doyle?
I'm not.
All right, so he is a huge metal fan. He runs a website, and I'm going to mess it up. It's activeandautistic.com, I believe, or it might be
Nice.
reversed. And he is doing a show in April, I believe, at the Subalpine, where he's going to be raising money for, I can't think of the name of it. It's a group that raises money for autistic children
Okay.
that are musicians,
All
and
right.
they do open mics for them,
Wow.
things like that. It's
that's
April 30th at Subalpine.
that's really cool.
It's something Pittsburgh. Why can't I remember it? John Vento and thank you, Charlie. Band Together Pittsburgh. It's Band Together. PGH.org. It's John Vento and Moondog Esser.
Oh yes,
that founded it.
I thought that was something that they had a part in, and I couldn't think of the name of it. Ron, I know. I don't know John personally.
John has a full-size stage in his backyard.
Of course I've seen him around, at a lot of things, but Ronnie I have met a few times, and I like him I like him a lot. He does a lot of things in the scene, a lot of one of my favorite open mic that I have been going to for several years is Wednesday night at the Starlight Cafe in Blawnox, which is
where he sells pierogies.
yes, that's where he sells his pierogies, and it's like 2 doors down from Moondog's there, and I mean he's been part of the scene and the blues festival and the Band Together Pittsburgh and all these things for a long time. So
I went to the blues festival this past summer. I didn't stay long, but I hung out for a little bit. The two of them are both very, very deep in the scene. John actually owns Steamworks Creative, which is a little
I've played there.
Seat. Yeah,
I've played there a couple times, and in fact, I even went to a few years back. I was sort of dabbling in doing some voiceover work, and I had taken a couple workshops that were hosted at his studio there. It's Corbry Wood, I believe.
Yeah, Corbry Wood.
Corbry Wood, yes.
Yeah,
and one of the woman giving the class was was a professor from Point Park, but she was the workshops were at Corbry Wood there, and it was a really cool place.
Corbry Wood Stock is a show he puts on. I'm assuming that it was the same place, old colonial building,
yes.
House on a farm. Yeah,
yes, that's kind of out in the sticks a bit.
Yeah, there. That's his house.
Yeah.
And then if you go out back, there's literally a full-size stage that they hold the Corbry Woodstock on. It's really cool. There's he has flowers that were once in George Washington's flower garden in his yard, which is pretty cool.
That I did not realize. That's pretty cool.
They're over by the pool if it's still there. So I gave you a homework assignment to check out Robin and Bob.
Yes.
And come up with a question for them. They are next episode's guests. What would you like to ask them?
I'd like to ask them who their who are their biggest songwriting influences. Sometimes I know for me, sometimes like my influences for one thing are maybe something different than another aspect of what maybe my guitar playing influence is a little different than a writer who influenced me. So I want to know who their songwriting influences are.
Cool. So now your next assignment is you have to listen to the next episode so you can hear their answer. This is
sweet.
I've unofficially named this the now I'm completely blank. When Chain Letter. It's the Chain Letter podcast.
Nice.
where you have to send it on and um, there's that interaction.
Yeah, that's
um,
nice. That's nice.
you are actually probably familiar with whose fault that is. Doug Carnahan had the idea of bands, musicians interviewing each other, and we
Yeah.
never got it together. But then when I start this podcast, I'm like, I gotta kind of use that idea.
Yeah.
That's also why the Build to Sing logo has that microphone it has,
Mm-hmm.
because it looks like the mic that Doug uses on stage.
Oh, very nice.
So it's a little ode to Doug because he gave me the idea.
Very nice. Good idea.
um, so where can the listeners find you online, find your music, find out where you're playing?
So, another thing that sort of happened over, the first year of COVID was, I kind of had to uh, let some things go, and I'm sort of starting to reset now. Um, I had a website and some things, and I kind of had to let that stuff go for a little bit, just because I wasn't gigging, I wasn't, I wasn't, making, making the same sort of money that I was before from gigs to sort of help out with things. Um, and so I'm gonna get some things started now. I want to put up a new YouTube. I want to put up a new website. I've been kind of using this time to focus on writing a lot and get some things ready. I have some songs, a good few songs already, um, but I wanted to get a few more, and I've been writing with my new band and stuff. Um, so right now, I've been trying to be a little bit more active on. Excuse me. It's really dry tonight from the weather right now. Is the heater's just like constantly blowing.
That's because it's like 10 degrees in the morning and
That's right.
25 during the day.
Um,
I just took my air conditioners out of the windows last night.
yeah. So right now I'm kind of trying to I want to be. Of course, I do still have my the Facebook page. David Hipchen Music, and my personal Facebook page. Um, and my Instagram. But I want to put and my old, from Tilted Shadows. Of course, those things are all still available on iTunes and Apple Music and Amazon and Spotify and all of those places. Um, and I want to get that set up for my solo work here, and hopefully for Neon Witch Parade as well. In the near future, it's just kind of like I said, I wanted to take some time and a lot of things. I had some personal, some personal things also that happened over the last year that you know everything just sort of took a little bit longer than what I thought it would. I had planned on already having a solo album out. I've been dreaming up my first solo album now for a while, which I thought would be out by now, and it's nowhere close to that. But I am working with, I have some things in the works and working with my new band. Um, so certainly I will soon be putting those things out. Having a new Spotify and YouTube and some things, some new singles to put out. And, um,
So they should go to the Facebook page, and then once you have everything updated, it'll end up on
yes,
there, right?
yes, yep.
Um, I don't usually do this. I'm gonna do something weird because Primate did this to me last night. Um, do you have a question for me?
Do I have a question for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is
I,
scary.
I'm sure I could probably think of a few. So, how many, off the top of your head, if you had to guess in the last 10 years, how many shows you've been to?
Oh, I bet it's lower than you think.
Really?
Um, yeah, well, keep in mind I have a 13-year-old and two
Yeah.
11-year-olds.
Well, yeah, but
So,
you still managed to show up at quite a few. But
um, for a long time, um, Kelly and I used to go out almost every weekend, as you know. We followed Cage around. We found Doppler Effect after the fall. Step 11. Just we were everywhere. And then once the kids showed up, that kind of tailed off. And then once we had a 26-month-old and newborn twins, it really tailed off. So for a good while, I basically the only shows I was going to were out in Islin, or maybe if there was something at the Leechburg Moose that I could walk to and come back fairly quickly.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's understandable,
But now that they're 13 and 11, I have a little more leeway, and I've been doing the photography thing. So recently I've been to a lot more shows, even with the pandemic. Let's see. Frank Vieira are you familiar with him?
I'm not.
It's so not a show that I thought I would ever went to. Jonna was supposed to do a photo shoot for them, and he was doing a show at Tequila Cowboy February, right before the pandemic, everything shut down. And she got food poisoning. And all the other photographers for First Angel Media weren't available. So that was my first ever paid photography gig.
Oh, nice.
And I went out in a panic the day of, had a blast. He's country.
Okay.
But he does kind of walk that Southern rock line at times. In fact, he played some Skinnerd. And I was hooked. So I've been doing the photography thing ever since. I've been a couple Crash Army shows, Neostem. Today, really Saturday, I'll be at it's Neostem, Parable, and the Molecule Party.
Oh man, this could be a great show.
I have done wow. They're gonna be so mad that I can't remember. Wow, I did Royal Honey's CD release. I did some photography at, which got the Borstal Boys, Royal Honey, the Cheats. It's not my first time seeing a whole Cheats set. I've seen them.
Excellent.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I saw them one time at the Hyde Park Tavern, but only for a little while because Fred Almer showed up after he had moved to Florida. He's like, "Hey, let's go to the Moose." And I went to the Moose. But yeah, wow. I mean, I guess just there I listed a whole bunch.
That's quite a few.
Wow. I'm probably one of the few people that is this into music that has been to more unsigned shows than major shows. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been to some major shows and Kiss, Motley Crue, Aerosmith. Wow. Aaron
Lewis?
Yes, Aaron Lewis. I saw him with he was with Hurt and 3 Days Grace, I think it was. I always get them and 3 Doors Down mixed up, and they're not really even the same genre, but they both have 3 in their name. And a band called People on Airplanes, who I 100% wish would have stayed on their airplane. That was at X Fest. In the early, probably like 2006. And I ran into Steve and Matt there. But nice. They were not supposed to be on the bill. Another band was, and that band's lead singer fell off the stage, broke his leg. So these guys filled in, and the classy Pittsburgh fans that we have were throwing lemons at them.
Oh, that's rough.
I just to tell everyone how bad they were.
So they were actually that bad?
Oh, they were bad. Someone thought they were good, apparently. And they're from the United Kingdom. So, I mean, they had to travel here. But not my thing. Rest of the show was great. First time seeing Hurt, loved them. Wow, that's, man. I don't know that I can put a number on it after saying, well, it hasn't really been that many, but I guess it has been. Oh, I photographed Right Turn Clyde at Steamworks. And I did I went and took a couple photos at the Blues Festival.
Yeah. Steamworks is a cool little place. I've played there a couple times, and that's another place that had kind of a cool open mic thing. I was at open mic there once or twice, prior to COVID. It's a nice, it's a good listening room. A lot of places that you play, in this region, sometimes especially if you're if you're doing solo acoustic things, a lot of times you wind up almost being background music, and but like that's the kind of place where people are like actually sitting there listening to you.
Well, there's signs on the wall that tell you not to talk.
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind that place?
I don't know the whole story behind it. No.
So John's son was running a vape shop out of that building, and they had a lease, and it just didn't quite work out. So they had this lease in this building and weren't really doing anything with it, and they turned it into Steamworks.
Very nice. Yeah, it's a nice place. The sound's always good in there. A friend of mine, Larry Demas, he did. I know he was doing sound in there for the open mics and things, and he had asked me to be the I was like the featured act at open mic there at one time, and he did a lot of he's been pretty active there, playing there and helping out with sound and things like that. And he's also a fellow songwriter from the Pittsburgh area. So yeah, shout out to Larry and to Steamworks. It's a cool room.
The night I was there, the lighting guy let me tell him where I wanted what light and what color, and he was like, "Let me know what you need." So I did. The photo that just appeared above me, the guitarist, that was taken at Steamworks. And then Rocky, who's above your chest, that was taken at the Royal Honey CD release, which is at Thunderbird Cafe, which is another amazing venue in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and that's another one that it has that cool little like that little sort of mini stage at the end of in the front room there, kind of at the end of the bar, and then of course it has the big room,
the Bat Cave.
Yes, but
that's the best way I can describe that.
It's a cool place. We did I used to go to a lot of open mics, and there was a cool Sunday open mic that they were doing at Thunderbird for a little while. That you could get like brunch and a beer, whatever, coffee, whatever you wanted, have something to, have brunch and some live acoustic music, it was pretty cool.
That was with the photography thing. I'm going to a lot of venues for the first time for me, because, there's bridges and Pittsburghers don't cross bridges. And now that people are saying, "Hey, come take photos," like that was my first time at Thunderbird. I did 7 Gun. Oh man, it's a metal band. I'm 100% screwed that one up. 7 Metal. I can see.
You know what? Now it's on the tip of my tongue too. I can't think what it is.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go look.
Oh man, that's gonna bother me now till we.
No, it isn't. I'm going to Facebook and getting it. 7. I know it has gun in it. 7 Fatal Guns. I think that's it. Yep, that's them. 7 Fatal Guns. That was my first time at. Oh man, my brain is fried tonight. Fairly big venue in the Pittsburgh area. Everybody plays it. Um, why can't I think of the name of it?
Mr. Smalls?
No, it's
Or
not in the city. It's man, it's like on the same level as Jurgles, and I can't think of it. The
oh, dang it. Now that you put it that way, I'm like, um,
man,
we're both blank on
I'm scrolling through to see if they're playing another show there. Man, why can't something house barn grill? Craft House. It's the Craft
the
House.
Craft House. That's right. It's down in the South Hills.
I can't believe it took me that long to pull that out of my head.
Now that you mention it, I'm like, I did and I couldn't think of it. When you
Okay.
said it was sort of like in the same vein as Jurgles, I knew what you were talking about.
I should
couldn't
have just
think,
been asked Charlie again.
yeah, I was part of I played a show there once, solo acoustic set as part of like a songwriter showcase kind of thing, at Craft House one time.
Another really, really cool venue.
Yeah.
I walked in and the guy running sound knew who I was. It was the weirdest thing ever. I
Mm.
hardly I'm not used to being recognized. And he actually, his name's Larry. I'm gonna mess up his last name, Dagiello. He is in Modern Fossils,
Okay.
and he has solo music out too.
Nice.
And like I literally opened the door and he was coming out as I was going in, and I was like, and he's like, Bill, and I'm like, okay, I know he looks familiar, but I didn't expect to know anybody.
Yeah, we're lucky that we have a few pretty cool venues still. I mean that's um, venues, music venues in particular, have just been decimated. Over the last year and a half here.
That's there's in New Ken, Preserving the Underground. Have you been to that one yet?
I haven't been to that one yet. No.
That one is on my list. It is it's a record store upstairs,
Nice.
and then
Nice.
there's a 300 person venue in the basement, stage and lighting and everything down there.
Really?
And I want to say you can, like, if you want to do your own event, I think you can rent it for $300, and then Dresky books it.
Nice. Very nice. I'll have to check that place out.
Charlie's throwing out Get Hip Records too.
A cool place that was I think they moved since I had played there, but there was a record store on the north side called the Government Center, the north side in Pittsburgh, that had been hosting live music as well. And I did another solo. I was part of like a multi songwriter show there one night. That was really cool. I thought those record store kind of shows I always thought were pretty cool.
So I have one more thing for you to tell us about the songwriting circle that you're involved in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
You can just give us a little bit of insight on what that is and how to get involved with it.
Yeah, well, they the first Wednesday of every month they've been meeting at the Starlight in Blawnox there, and basically, it's called the Pittsburgh Songwriter Circle, and I got involved with it here probably about 5 years ago at this point. They used to have their meetings at the Bloomfield Bridge Tavern, which was another one of my favorite old stops. When I was going to some shows and open mics in the city, there was a good open mic at Bloomfield Bridge Tavern on Tuesday nights, and then they it was once a month. Before open mic was the Songwriter Circle meeting there, and basically it was because I had gone there for open mic and not realizing that it even was the songwriters group night, and a gentleman, a guy from the songwriters group named John Hayes, who's sort of runs the group, was like, hey, you should really check out. They were very inviting. They were like, hey, you should really come check out our he heard me playing originals and was like, man, you really need to check out our songwriters group. And we have the first Tuesday of every month or whatever, we meet before open mic here, and it's really a cool, they have different sort of songwriting challenges and things like each month. Maybe one month it'll be like, hey, this month for the meeting, we want you to write a song that starts with the chorus instead of a verse, or may have some specifically themed, or maybe just write something that's out of your wheelhouse a little bit, something like that. But there's a lot of sort of songwriting challenges, and a lot of times then at the meetings, of course, that's another thing that suffered over COVID time here so far. But the meetings have been over the last couple months really picking up again. Where a lot of people show up and everybody sort of gets a turn to play their song, and yeah, you really get to share a lot of things. Um, you get a lot of insight into different approaches to the process, the creative process, and a lot of different streams of consciousness, when it comes to how different songwriters like to create their art, and so they do they and then they do a compilation album annually, and so this would be, I want to say, this would be the fourth song I've had on one of the songwriters compilations, and we had been doing album or like CD release shows at the Root Cellar at the Center for the Arts in Oakland. And of course, that's another thing that we weren't able to do last year. And to my knowledge, I don't think they're doing one this year either. But um, it's a cool thing, though. The CD has there's such a wide variety of styles. I mean, there are everything from you know there's a wide age range of songwriters that contribute, and so there's a wide, there's definitely a lot of variety in lyrical style, musical style, um, just all kinds of uh,
I imagine that there are some collaborations that come out of that too.
oh yes, yeah, definitely some collaborations. And really it's a lot of friendships as well. I mean, a lot of these people that I met there, fellow songwriters, I've wound up either being friends or at least pretty fun acquaintances. Like we'll see each other at other open mics and things now, and we'll talk and we'll bounce songs off each other and things like that. And it's it's a cool group. They're very welcoming. Um, Someone like me who is so like a little socially backwards sometimes, um, they made they make you feel pretty comfortable, and they're very welcoming and very very supportive when everybody puts their thing out there.
See, I told you it was not going to be 3 questions.
It's been
David,
a good talk though.
yeah, I have this all the time, or I wouldn't be almost 700 episodes into all of them.
Yeah.
Actually, probably, if you count all the shows I've been on, like as a guest, and the couple of podcasts that just didn't work out, I probably am over 700.
Probably.
But hey, I want to thank you for hanging out with me on episode 71.
Thanks for having me, man. It's nice to see you.
You as well. Hopefully, sometime soon in person.
Yes.
I'm currently, I guess. Well, I'll tell you that off the air. Anyway, this has been episode 71 of 3 Questions and a Song. You can check us out on the 1st and 15th of each month. I am looking. There it is. There's Todd Cheat right there. And the Pennsylvania Rock Show is every Friday. And then Friendly Fire is supposed to be the second Saturday of each month, but that one has become more fluid. So you just have to watch for announcements on that show. And as always, you can go to buildascene.com/radio and request music that you've heard here. And if you know some bands that should be on that playlist, let me know as well. You can send me an email at bill@builddecine.com. Don't forget to go check David out on Facebook, facebook.com/Hipchen Music. And we will see you on the 1st. And look at the calendar. That's how this day is going. I will catch you next time.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and have a great 2022. And hopefully we'll be seeing you at some live shows.
Oh, come on.